Looking forward to trying to get back on track after a difficult week. Obviously, rivalry game, but it's the next game, so it's always the most important. Girls have trained hard this week. They're excited to play, and looking forward to a highly competitive game on Thursday.
But considering Ole Miss, I know anytime they get together, you two get together, no matter what, if they're having a good year, you're having a good year. It's always, you got to buckle down for that one.
Yeah, I mean, rivalry games just have that little bit more of an edge to them, for sure. I don't think there's much love lost between the two sets of players. So both teams are going to compete for the right to get the 3 points, but also the Magnolia Cup. The games in the past have been fun games to watch, with very little leeway either way, so you got to be good at the details, you got to be ready for a fight, and hopefully we'll be able to do both of those.
And as you said, you're just looking for a win no matter who it's against.
Yeah, that's it right now. Auburn, South Carolina, things didn't quite go our way and had to deal with the adversity of Maddie going off early, but Auburn was disappointing. I thought the performance was good. The effort by the girls was really good. Just to concede the way we did with 8 minutes to go, when we could have scored at the other end, I think that was really tough. So right now, as we've got 4 games left, every game's important. 3 points is massive for any team. Every team's fighting for points as we go along, so it would just be a little bit sweeter if it was against them.
With Maddie going down and then Mac taking over, how would you assess her performance over the basically last 2 games in total?
So proud of her. I mean, listen, she's worked really hard. It's hard to be behind Maddie, and all the accolades Maddie's got over the years and the performances Maddie has put in to earn those accolades. But both her and Hannah Pimentel have buckled down and they work hard because they know at any point, you got to be ready for the next play. That came very early in the South Carolina game for Mac, and the first thing she has to do is pick the ball out the back of the net from a screamer from 30 yards, 25 yards. And that was a moment for her. She was either going to have a confidence knocked or she was going to be like, it's okay, guys, let's go. And thankfully for us, and we were never in doubt, she buckled down and, has been great. She was called in for an early save, get 2 early saves against Auburn. So just really proud of the effort that she's made, the concentration she's made, and the impact that she's had to make, since she stepped into that role.
When it comes to adversity, I know that you guys have faced some when it comes to injuries, but with actual results, this is really the first time this season that you guys have faced any sort of adversity.
Yeah.
How do you think that the girls are facing it so far and are dealing with it?
There's obvious disappointment. You go through that long stretch of games where you remain unbeaten and you have a great start to conference play, and I thought Missouri was a valuable point on the road. And then you kind of have South Carolina and Auburn, and to not score, and lose by 1 goal in both games, your confidence is going to take a little bit of a knock. But I'm blessed. I've said this all along. I've got a staff that are always working so hard, super positive, super optimistic. The girls have belief. They come out every day ready to practice. The injuries, they've never used it as an excuse. Just next player up, and I think you could see that in the Auburn game, even though it was a Sunday game. The fight was absolutely there. So for us right now, we're all working really hard to turn it around.
Mm-hmm. Do you think that with those injuries that have been sustained this season, the fact that players have been able to step up, have you seen the players who have done that? Have you seen them start to gain more confidence, and then as a result, others start to gain confidence off of them?
Absolutely. Yeah, like the players that have stepped up in space of the injuries, have done a great job. Done everything we could ask of them. And I think when you go through a normal season that everybody hopes to have in terms of no injuries, you can start to lose some of the players that don't get the play time that they want, and maybe they start to see their role as not being able to change. But for us, every single player knows it could be my turn at any given time. Lineups change nearly every game. So I think that's kept all the players honest. And, when somebody goes down injured, you've got to take make sure you don't take for granted the opportunity that they all get to be able to play the game that they all love to play, you know. So I think that's been another part of it as well.
Do you think maybe a fast start against Ole Miss, maybe getting that goal that we desperately need early, will maybe take some pressure off this match?
Yeah, I mean, we've got to start well. We've got to start well, you know, and I thought we started well against Auburn, to be perfectly honest. South Carolina, obviously we didn't, but Auburn, I thought we started very well. And the ball was down their end of the field the whole time. We didn't create any clear chances inside their box in that early going. You know, and our goal is to make Ole Miss uncomfortable, and yeah, an early goal would be a dream, you know. But the game is going to be very fast paced at the beginning for sure, if not the whole game. So we got to be ready for that.
Ole Miss, you know, a win over them will cure a lot of what else, I guess.
Oh yeah, I mean, if you can't get excited to play against an in-state rival, what can you get excited for, you know? So.
I know against Auburn, I know that you guys ended up out on the losing side of things, but I know that you had a really good game in goal. Did you feel like you were a lot more, you know, I don't want to say settled, but compared to the South Carolina game, how did you feel in net against Auburn?
I mean, of course, me going in against South Carolina was almost a surprise. Nobody wants to see Maddie get injured like that and then have to come out of the game. But definitely I had more time to like mentally prepare myself to be in goal for sure for the Auburn game. Definitely settled down.
Mm-hmm. And what are preparations like with Ole Miss coming up? What do you know about their attack and what are you expecting out of them?
I mean, they're athletic, they're dynamic, of course, and every team in the SEC, they're great going forward. So we're just gonna treat them with the most respect and, you know, hope that we prepare well enough to handle it.
We're going to just talk about the team heading into this big match tomorrow night. Ole Miss is always big, no matter what kind of seasons either one of them have.
Yeah. Yeah, as you said, it's always a big game against Ole Miss. You know, we're going to focus on ourselves like we usually do. We have a lot of things, obviously, that we're facing right now, internal adversity with injuries and stuff, and things that we're trying to figure out, and that's going to be our main focus, to prepare for this game like we would any other game. But obviously it's exciting, there's a trophy involved, and you know, we're all going to do our best.
This is really the first time this season that you guys have faced, you know, this big of adversity in terms of, you know, on the field losing games, things of that nature. How have you guys tried to, you know, block that out of your heads, flush that down the drain, and then head into the next match?
Yeah, I think a big part of it is actually flushing it and not getting stuck on it and going down a hole of thinking the worst and just doing the exact opposite, you know, seeing it for what it is, that we didn't score and we conceded 2 goals, so we lost those 2 games. And we just got to do better offensively, we got to do better defensively, but also come together and not let our heads down. Like, it's not the end of the world. And the SEC is a tough conference to play in, so we'll just do our best to make sure we get another few wins in to secure a spot in Pensacola.
And when it comes to Mac and goal, how are you guys trying to get her more comfortable with everything? I know that she came in a very unique situation with South Carolina, and Auburn was her first start, but how are you guys trying to get her acclimated with everything?
Honestly, she's been doing great. Like, when she came on against South Carolina, I kind of went into her path between her and the goal to like give her a little touch up, a little pep talk, and she was like, "Oh girl, I got it, like I'm ready." And I was like, "Perfect, you know, go do you." And she is a very confident player, and she stepped up to that, and I think she's been great for all of us, and I think everybody has agreed on that. She talks to us, she's confident, she's been making big saves, and yeah, I think it's just keeping that going and obviously continuing to grow as a team.
And if there's any like big things that you guys are trying to focus on in these next few matches, especially with Ole Miss coming up, what are those things that have been focused on in practice or maybe talked about in the locker room?
I think a big part is the mental aspect right now, coming off of 2 losses. You know, we haven't done that at all season. Just, you know, flushing it, focusing on the next match, because that's the most important right now. And being really focused in practice this week is very important. That's a big aspect, and just cleaning up those details that we need to be cleaning up to score and not concede.
I know there's a lot of youth on this team this year. This is the first adversity they've been through. Some of you have been around a while. I've seen a little more adversity. How have y'all been able to help kind of smooth all that over so they don't get discouraged?
Yeah, I think for them it's, yeah, I mean, it might be different because they haven't been through a college season. But I think they've been just super excited about everything. I don't feel like that they are more like touched by the losses that we've had. I think they just have a very much like next game focus, and I think we're all very, very, very proud of our young players, and obviously they contributed a lot, scoring a lot of goals. So yeah, I think we're all one team, and they've definitely stepped up to the plate like anybody else.